What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into ranking Sidemen Among Us characters Content Edition, where we'll rank the players from the Sidemen Among Us videos based on how much they contribute to the content. The categories range from God tier for absolute legends and to never come back for those who didn't quite deliver. Let's get into it. Up first is KSI. KSI is an obvious God tier. He knows exactly when to bring the chaos, delivering iconic moments that make the videos unforgettable. A perfect example is when Randy caught him red-handed in electrical.
I'm audibly talking about my... No!
Oh shit.
An absolutely hilarious moment, and my personal favourite. His larger-than-life energy, combined with his hilarious rivalry with Deji, always adds extra entertainment to the videos, making him a standout every single time. Next up is Tobe Jizzle. In my opinion, Toby falls into the meh tier. While his iconic throwby moments add some fun, I feel like he complains a bit too much, and his energy can sometimes be hard to connect with. Overall, he doesn't burn enough to make a big impact in the videos. Next up is Josh Urka. In my opinion, Josh falls into the meh category when it comes to Sidemen Among Us videos. While he excels in other types of content, I feel like he doesn't quite bring the same level of energy or standout moments in these. Moving on to Vicstar123. In my opinion, Vic is definitely solid. He has standout moments that really add to the videos, like his famous rages, and using his smarts to engage the audience. A great example is his clutch play with the Flash mod, which showed off his creativity and made for an unforgettable moment. Next up is Simon Miniminter. In my opinion, Simon is God tier, just a step below KSI when it comes to making content. He creates great moments with his impressive gaming IQ and keeps the audience engaged through his control and clever manipulation over the lobby. An example of this was his multiple gesture wins, showcasing his ability to outsmart everyone while keeping it entertaining. His balance of strategy and fun makes him a key player in the videos. Moving on to the Australian Lachlan. In my opinion, Lachlan fits into the meh tier. While he's a great YouTuber, he doesn't especially stand out when it comes to Sidemen Among Us videos. One iconic moment though was when Laserbeam hilariously had a camera on him. Lachlan has his moments, but when it comes to Sidemen Among Us, he doesn't particularly stand out in my opinion. Up next is KSI's brother Deji. In my opinion, Deji is solid because he's great at creating iconic moments with his humour, always bringing laughs to the videos. His rivalry with JJ adds even more entertainment, creating some of the funniest and most memorable dynamics. However, I feel like he can do a bit too much at times, which keeps him from slotting into the God tier. Still, he's a big contributor to the series. Next up is Calux. In my opinion, Calux fits into the meh tier. While he can bring some funny moments, I feel like he doesn't stand out as much in Sidemen Among Us videos. His contributions are there, but they're not as impactful compared to other members in the lobby. Next up is the other Cal Freezy. In my opinion, Cal Freezy is solid. He brings a unique energy and humour to Sidemen Among Us videos, and I really respect the effort he puts in, despite not being the best at the game. He always tries to adapt to the chaos, which makes his presence entertaining and memorable. Next up is Arthur TV. In my opinion, Arthur fits into the decent tier. He shows potential and has some memorable moments. But the one that stands out most to me is when Simon manipulated him to win the vote.
Let me vote him. Let me vote him.
Simon, I can't be bothered, bro.
Bez, listen to me. I've literally just watched Arthur appear out of thin air in front of me. I did that so he didn't kill us.
Moving on to George Clarkey. In my opinion, George Clarkey fits into the meh tier. While he does try to contribute to Sidemen Among Us videos, I feel like he doesn't really stand out compared to the others, forcing me to slot him into the meh category. Moving on to Angry Ginge. In my opinion, Angry Ginge is God tier. I think he adds a lot to the videos with his unmatched energy and hilarious reactions that always bring something special to the table. My personal favourite moment was his intense 1v1 standoff against Laserbeam. It perfectly showcases the chaos and humour he brings to every session. Next up is fan favourite Willen. In my opinion, Willen fits into the solid tier. He brings a unique charm to the Sidemen Among Us videos, often playing the innocent role that fans love. His humorous approach and interactions with other players add a delightful dynamic, making the sessions more engaging and enjoyable. For instance, in one game Willany humorously spoke Spanish during discussions, adding a layer of comedy that engages the audience. Up next is Randolph. In my opinion, Randolph fits into the decent tier. He brings humour and sharp observations to help the Sidemen Among Us videos, and moments like catching KSI red-handed in electrical show his ability to contribute effectively. However, I feel like he can be a bit annoying at times when he tries to do too much, which holds him back from standing out more consistently, in my opinion. While he adds to the dynamic, he doesn't quite reach the higher tiers for me when it comes to content. Next up is Young Chip. In my opinion, Chip fits into the solid tier. He brings humour and confidence to the Sidemen Among Us sessions. My personal favourite moment of his was when he boldly eliminated players in front of the lobby, but survived the vote because of his positive, humorous attitude. Next up is America's Jinxie. In my opinion, Jinxie undoubtedly slots into the god tier when it comes to content, even with his short stint in the series. He's incredibly skilled and adds so much to the Sidemen Among Us sessions. A perfect example is his rivalry with Angry Ginge, which has created some of the most entertaining and competitive moments in the series. Moving on to Chris MD. In my opinion, Chris MD fits into the meh tier. While he's a solid player and brings humour to Sidemen Among Us videos, he does not live up to his full potential when it comes to content, as we know from his videos in the past. Jacksepticeye, I can't remember. Moving swiftly on to Jamie. In my opinion, Jamie is solid when it comes to content. His imposter gameplay is some of the best, with his ability to waffle and talk his way out of tough situations, keeping both the players and the audience engaged. He adds a clever and entertaining dynamic to the videos that makes him stand out in his own way. Next up is Pieface. In my opinion, Pieface fits into the decent tier. The effort he puts into Sidemen Among Us videos earns him his spot, even though he can be a bit annoying sometimes. My personal favourite moment was his fight with Danny Aarons, which was hilarious and memorable. Theo Baker, I can't remember. Viz is up next. In my opinion, Viz fits into the decent tier when it comes to content. He uses his smarts to create some great moments in the Sidemen Among Us videos, showing his strategic side. However, I feel like he doesn't have the same overall impact as some of the other players, which keeps him from ranking higher. Moving on to Ethan Bazinga. I think Ethan Bazinga is god tier when it comes to content. He brings an unmatched energy and humour to the Sidemen Among Us videos. My personal favourite moments of his is his third imposter gameplay, like when he hilariously voted Simon without thinking in the final 3, adding a layer of chaos and entertainment. Next up is global superstar Mr. Beast. In my opinion, Mr. Beast has to be god tier. With his incredible YouTube career, it's no surprise he brought some unique ideas to his Sidemen Among Us videos. His games for money and the genius idea of paying a detective to take notes on people added a whole new level of excitement and strategy, making his presence unforgettable. Dream, I can't remember. Next up is Ellum. In my opinion, Ellum is definitely solid when it comes to content. He doesn't feature as much in the videos anymore, but I think they should bring him back because he was a great addition. His smarts at the game and his rivalry with Randy created some hilarious moments, making him a valuable part of the group dynamic. Up next, Talia and Freya, I can't remember. Moving on to Danny Aarons. Okay, next up is PewDiePie. In my opinion, PewDiePie fits into the decent tier. He hasn't been in many Sidemen Among Us videos, but the time he was, he put in a good effort and added his own unique way of engaging the audience. While he made a good impact during his short time, his limited appearances keep him from ranking higher. Carl Jacobs is up next. In my opinion, Carl Jacob fits into the decent tier as well when it comes to content. Even though he was only in a couple videos too, he still made some decent content. His good experience with similar games shone through, even if he could be a bit annoying at times. Up next, James Marriott, I can't remember. Next up is the legend himself, Harry Rotoshaw. In my opinion, Harry is definitely god tier. He's very good in Sidemen Among Us, and definitely a fan favourite, consistently creating funny moments, especially when he gets annoyed. For example, his banter with Ethan, or calling out JJ and Simon for cheating to win against him, are classic moments, making Harry an obvious pick for god tier. Next up is the other Aussie, Muzelk. Muzelk is solid, and definitely underrated. He's only been in a few episodes, But my favourite moment was when he and Lachlan totally wrongly accused each other during the Shapeshifter game. It was chaotic and hilarious, showcasing his ability to create iconic moments even with limited appearances. Up next is Max Fosh. In my opinion, Max Fosh is definitely solid when it comes to content. His witty comments add so much to the videos when he's involved. Even though he isn't especially good at the game, he always made an effort to engage the audience, which made his presence entertaining and memorable. Next up is Tubbo, who I can't remember in Sidemen Among Us. Next up is Milk. In my opinion, Milk fits into the decent tier. He's had some iconic moments, like the time he used AI to try solve who the imposter was, which was creative and entertaining. However, overall, I feel like he doesn't stand out consistently in the videos. FaZe K or K is up next. In my opinion, FaZe K fits into the decent tier in Sidemen Among Us content. He added a lot with his good personality and knack for making engaging content. The only reason he's indecent is because he was only in the videos for a short time, limiting his overall impact. Next up is Wilbur. In my opinion, Wilbur fits into the meh tier for content. He was decent and had some potential, especially with his combination with Tommy in it to help make content. However, he was only in the videos for a short time like FaZe K, and didn't really stand out compared to the others. Next up is Apex. In my opinion, I can't remember much of Apex's contributions to Sidemen Among Us, but his moment with KSI and Harry in Electrical stands out to me. This moment is memorable, and in my opinion stands out enough for me to put him in decent overall. He was somewhat entertaining, but overall, in my opinion, he didn't leave a strong impression. Next up is Jarvis. I think Jarvis fits into the meh tier. While he's a big YouTuber creator with a reputation for good content, he didn't especially stand out for me in Sidemen Among Us videos. The main moment I remember of him was when he and KSI were imposter partners. He was decent overall, but he slots into the meh tier because he doesn't live up to the high standards of content that we know he is capable of producing. Next up is Mr. Beast's counterpart, Chandler. In my opinion, Chandler fits into the decent tier. While he didn't seem to try too hard to make an effort in the videos, his chill aura engages the audience. Along with some smart comments, he adds a laid-back and entertaining presence to the sessions in the little time he was involved. Fresh is next. I think Fresh definitely slots into the solid section. He creates fun storylines with Laserbeam, and his in-game smarts remind me of Simon. Even with his break from YouTube, he's definitely a player I'd like to see back sometime. His limited time on the series holds him back from God tier, but he always adds a strategic and entertaining element to the videos. Next up is YouTube superstar Tommy Innit. In my opinion, Tommy Innit is certainly God tier. Despite his short time in the series, his banter and hilarious rivalry with KSI has a huge impact. I feel like his chaotic energy and quick wit made every moment he was in unforgettable, cementing his place in the top tier in my opinion. Next up is Joe Weller. In my opinion, Joe Weller fits into the decent tier. Similar to Chandler, he has a chill aura that adds a relaxed vibe to the videos. Even though he wasn't the best at the game, he tried his best to make content and found his own ways to engage the audience. He'd likely rank higher if he had been in more episodes. He's a player I'd like to see back in the near future. Last up is the legend himself, Laserbeam. We've saved the best for last. Laserbeam is God tier without a doubt. He's the full package, combining smarts and humour to create some of the best content in the Sidemen Among Us videos. His funniest moments are definitely his hilarious rages, which always leaves the audience in stitches. He also has great clutches that showcase his strategic thinking, like the time he and Simon chased Danny Aarons in the camouflage episode, a standout moment for me. Laserbeam truly brings it all to the table. And that's my ranking of the players from the Sidemen Among Us videos, based on content they create and bring to the table. What do you think? Do you agree with my tiers, or have I got some completely wrong? Let me know your opinions in the comments. I'd love to hear how you'd rank them. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more ranking and content. Thanks for watching.